Good evening, all. Today, in this session, I'm going to share my own experience with leadership. I'm Madhavan. I do have 23 years of experience. I'm currently working as a leader in auto industry. I'm also an author. I'm also a leadership coach. I just start with this question. What if I told you the best leader you ever met might be someone you never heard of? Think for a moment. It may be your high school teacher, the one who found potential in you when you didn't see that potential in you, and the one who pushed you to achieve impossible. Similarly, it may be a mentor at work, the one who quietly guided you towards your greatest achievement, the one gave you great opportunity, the one spent time on guiding you when you needed support. The common perception what we have about leaders basically we are conditioned to believe that leaders are leaders should have authority, and the leaders should have control, and leaders will have spotlight. But these are all misconceptions basically. So this version of leadership is limited and short lived. Redefining leadership. What if true leadership isn't about being followed, but about how many leaders you empower? So leadership it's not a personal glory. It's not about having more followers. It's about developing other leaders. So that is the redefinition for leadership. The legacy of leadership. So legacy means it's long-time impact. So long-time impact requires long-time focus. And the long-time focus requires patience and humility. So leaders, it's the important quality for leaders, having that patience as well as humility. And one leader can have 100 followers. So with 100 followers, they can influence 100 people. But whereas the one leader, if they develop 10 more leaders, then only they can have exponential impact, because that multiplying factor really give exponential impact. So the point is, only the leaders who are creating other leaders can have exponential impact. So one leader, it is highly impossible to get exponential impact. We can also see historically the examples, Mahatma Gandhi as well as Nelson Mandela. They are remembered not only for what they have done, they are remembered for the movements what they inspired, as well as the leader what they developed. So those leaders, they carry forward their vision even after they are gone. So to build a legacy, definitely we need a long time impact. So for that, leaders have to create other leaders. Just like leaders focusing only for getting followers, that will not help to create legacy. So just like I wanted to share here my personal story. 15 years ago, my first leadership role, I had the title, manager title, official title, and I was very happy. I put the title in the business card, I put the title in the email signature, and I also believed that the title gave me leader, that title made me leader. And then I also started giving instructions. I had the team members, so detailed step-by-step instructions, and also I did a lot of micromanagement. So I became really busy and checking everything to my standard, not like the company standard or any other standard, and also pushing people as well as pushing myself, working hard and making others also to work hard. So all these things I did it. I believed that that's how I can have the quality as well as, if, as a team we can be more efficient. So I also my team was complied. They did whatever I asked. They did everything, and something was missing. They were doing whatever asked, but the energy was not there, and no innovations, no ownership. So they were just doing what I was asking. And one day, my team member, I got this feedback from my team member. One day, one of my team members said, "Sir, I wish I could take such decision too." This happened just after my meeting, and it immediately struck me. I started to think, what made him to say this? In a subtle voice, he said that, but same time, he indirectly conveyed me the message that I can also make this decision. So that's when I realized that I started to think first, why am I not giving this opportunity to them? So if I'm not letting them to take decision, how they can become a leader? So I started to think this way. I was thinking all this, and then I started to realize that maybe I'm being hindrance to them. I'm creating followers. I'm not creating leaders. I'm not really developing them. So this is what I realized. After that, I had the change. This one sentence changed my leadership style. Before I was command and control approach, I was using it. And then I was also telling exactly, do this, do that. And I also like doing lot of micromanagement, and also like taking credit. Whatever the credit comes, like I was taking myself, right? And then later I changed, I transformed. I started using coaching. So I was not telling the people directly the directions or solutions. So I was making them to think on their own and understand, get their own solutions. Unless they have need for directions or solutions, I was not giving them directions or solutions. I was only doing coach. I used to coach whenever they come to me, but I was making myself available. And I was doing mentoring. Some people, they come for direction solutions. For them, I share my experience, what I learned through my experience. And that way also I was doing mentoring for some people, mentoring as well. And then I also started trusting. So through coaching, I made people to take a responsibility, and I was relying on them. I was trusting them. And with that trust, they also became more, they started to work with more ownership. And I also started publicly celebrating others' success. That's how the team morale got changed, and everyone motivated. Everyone got sense of achieving something that really improved overall team's productivity as well as efficiency. Yeah, the myth of heroic leadership. So normally we see leaders as hero, and that too the lone wolf leader, right? So we think they are visionary, they are fighter, and they have answer for all the questions, and they can battle alone, and they lead from the front, standing from the front, and they never show their weakness. So this is how we are, our understanding of leaders, and this is something, it's outdated. Basically, any big achievement will not come from a single person. So the big leaders, even if we call out some name like Steve Jobs or anybody, there is a team behind him. They developed a lot of leaders actually. There is only a big team, only a team can achieve a big success, not an individual. So this heroic leadership is something that all this, be it movies or biographies or social media, it projecting people like one man, he has answer for all. He's something that is very is is doing everything, but it's not really so. Okay, the reality is the true leadership is collaborative and distributed leadership environment. Basically, there is a, okay, so if the leadership is concentrated, many people will not work as a leader and you will not see that productivity or efficiency. So the ripple effect. Leadership creates ripples, quiet at first, but powerful enough to shape people, teams, and generation. So basically, when this is the leadership, yeah, it's a slow process. Basically, the impact. So normally, like, we don't see impact, immediately. So it happens over a period of time. Say for example, you may be coaching your colleague. So that colleague may be solving a much bigger problem than you never thought of. So you may be influencing a student. That student tomorrow may change one entire industry. And similarly, like, you may be mentoring someone, that your junior employee, maybe that person may become become the leader of a big company with thousands of employees. So basically, it takes time to see that the real impact. This is what I mean here, ripple effect. Here I also wanted to quote that it's like a tree. A tree, basically, we dig, and then we water the roots, and we got the sapling. And just think of the shades, fruits. Someone else may enjoy them. Even you're gone. So it's exactly the same thing. Even the leadership also, like, if you lead someone well, so that impact is like it. That person actually, he serve the society well, or he raise their children well. So it's like the impact, it happens like slowly, but it goes for the society, it goes for the family. So that's what I call it as ripple effect here. And the fingerprints. So every fingerprint is unique. Similarly, the leadership is also like, the leadership impact of everyone is also unique. So there are 3 leadership shifts I used through my experience. So basically, I moved from control to coaching. I also moved from power to empowerment, and moved from followers to future leaders. So in this control to coaching, it's basically developing the capabilities so that we make them people to stand on their own and lead others. And the power to empowerment, it's also giving people the tool, trust, as well as space to lead. And followers to future leaders is like not having people as followers, also like making them as leaders, so that they develop other leaders. So that's going to create more impact. Distributed leadership. So this distributed leadership this is like, with this it helps us to have more leaders in the organizations or any place. So, but concentrated leadership is nothing but not giving opportunities for others to become a leader. So with distributed leadership, it is possible to have more leaders. It is possible to get more impact, more positive impact. So distributed leadership will create resilient organization. Leaders who created leaders. Here some of the examples. Mahatma Gandhi. So basically, he not only, we don't remember him for not only he got independence for India, he also had the movements. So people are inspired with that movements, as well as he developed a lot of leaders. So even people like Nelson Mandela or Martin Luther King, they were inspired by Gandhi, and they adopted his principles in their own context. And still Mahatma Gandhi's leadership philosophies, it's influencing change makers of today's world as well. And similarly, founders, the company founders, like a lot of companies, we see that the leaders, they don't they build the company so with the right system and right culture and people, and then they don't stay there forever. They after some times actually like they step down and then somebody else take over that company, and still that company continues to flourish. So we can quote many companies like be it Apple. After Steve Jobs, it's still going good, and be it Microsoft, after Bill Gates stepped down, still they developed a successor, and still the company continues to flourish. And the teachers, here I want to quote APJ Abdul Kalam. So he is a missile man of India, and so he is also former president of India, and he is also a teacher, and he had thousands of students, and he inspired students to pursue career in science and technology. Many students also they were, due to his influence and the inspiration, they also became educators. Defining impact. The real impact of a leader is not in followers, but in successors. So the real impact, this is very important thought I wanted to share it with you. So the impact, how we can measure that real impact? How can we measure the success of a leader? So the success of a leader, to measure the success of a leader, we cannot just see only that when they are present and when they are active. So with traditional metrics, with number of employees and with revenue generated and projects completed, we can say that how this guy is performing. So that is like only the partial assessment, right? So we also have to see that what happens after this leader, he moved out. So when we see that the initiatives, whatever he was leading, whether that continues to happen, or whatever the people he developed, they continue to grow, or they continue to add values. So, and as well as whatever the capacity they increased in the company, that is permanent, or again it's shaking the company. So that tells us the leader how he performed. So if the leader performed well, so the impact should continue even after they left. So that's the reason the long time impact is very important. So the success of the leader, it's in the long time impact, not in the short time impact. So this is what we need to see it to understand whether a leader was really successful or not. So this is the measure. From my understanding, we can use it. And I also like here insist that point that as a leader, we have to focus long time impact. And the leadership is a launch pad. Here again, I'm comparing between the ladder and the launch pad. Ladder is something that how high a person can go, right? That is more of personal. So, but ladder is something that it's like building other leaders, right? So developing others. So a real leader, he shouldn't be focusing on his personal achievement. He has to focus on developing other leaders. So he has to be like a launch pad instead of a ladder. Just a question for you to reflect. Are you leading for applause, or are you leading to awaken leaders around you? Take a moment and think what you are marching towards. And the final message from my side is, let's stop chasing titles. Leadership is about impact, not position. Let's stop counting followers and start measuring the growth of these around us. Let's start building leaders. This is how we create the change that lasts beyond our own time. Thank you.